The future of the AR-15, or rather what Eugene Stoner would have done if he could have done it. We're looking at the V7 and how it is the perfection of Eugene Stoner's original concept, coming up next on GBGuns. So what you're looking at here is an original AR-601, one of the first few thousands produced. Of course, the lower receiver is an aftermarket recreation of the originals, but this was an original service rifle, and you can see we've got no forward assist. Space age materials is one of the descriptions used in the building of it, because it was one of the early rifles, military rifles anyways, for the US, using predominantly aluminum and plastic. And the concept was to create a lightweight rifle that troops could carry. And of course, the reason why I went with 5.56 223 was moving to an intermediate cartridge or a smaller, lighter cartridge, easier to carry, easier to control recoil of, and do rapid fire. Now, coming off of the big walnut stock all steel construction rifles, this was lightweight, and it made a good shift there. I can tell you though, having carried an M203 in Afghanistan, that they do get heavy once you start adding stuff to them. Of course, that wasn't something with this original concept. There was no means for an attachment other than a bayonet. But the AR has gone pretty much like this for, well, a few decades. Forward assist came in, then we realized, oh wait a minute, maybe that's a bad idea. Forward assist started to go back out of style. Charging handles improved. There have been lots of improvements in basic interaction interface with the gun, but the gun has remained about the same. So, without drifting to a piston system or changing things, how does one go further on the original concept of a lightweight, portable, controllable rifle? That's where V7 Weapons comes in. This is, albeit an older model, a V7 Weapons Enlightened AR. At first glance, it looks fancy. That's about it, except this complete 16-inch rifle is less than 5 pounds. There's no holes in it, no crazy cheats for lightweight there. What they did was continue on the idea of using advanced materials. This is not regular aluminum. This certainly isn't aluminum, and that's not steel. What you're looking at is lithium aluminum alloy and titanium. The handguard is made of magnesium. Gas block is titanium. Even the classic birdcage style flash hider is titanium. And shaving a few ounces off here and there throughout the whole gun comes down to a really lightweight gun. The newer models come with the MFT stock, and of course M-LOK is an option. Like I said, this is an older gun, a used gun. These are not cheap, hard to get your hands on, so this is the one that I've got to show you guys. We're going to break this down, separate upper from lower, and take a look at the build quality, and I'll point out some of the features on here. Really interesting design here, and it really is mind-blowing to pick up a sub 5-pound complete rifle that's not riddled with holes. So separating our upper from lower so we can look at things individually and a little closer up. In fact, I'm going to bring the camera in a little more. Starting at the lower receiver. Once again, lithium aluminum alloy. The lithium not only serves to calm some of the younger folks, they can lick it and feel better. No, just kidding. The lithium helps create space within the molecules of the aluminum without necessarily weakening it too much. Now, I am not a chemist. You'll have to talk to somebody like VSO for all your chemistry stuff. I'm a gun guy. This design is probably not cheap and not easy to work with, and it does reflect in the price. These guns are not inexpensive at all. However, they do reflect as far as I think anything could go right now for meeting Stoner's original design intent. We've got a nice gentle flare there. You notice that this trigger guard is integrated and very thin. Gives kind of a squarish feel. It does come with a Geisley trigger. Anything you see that would normally be steel is generally titanium on this thing. The grip, it's a BCM grip, and like I said, older models came with these, I believe these are called the B5 stocks. But even when you look at the thickness of this bolt release here, it's allowed to be a little thinner, nice texture, nice large paddle to make it easy to grab. I did notice when taking it down that the takedown pins have a nice divot there to make them easy to get some pressure on. This was a tight fitting receiver set, so I used the chamber flag and was able to push right there without slipping thanks to that divot in there. Gorgeous piece. The buffer tube, you'll notice, is different. Has all those surfaces, and the springs are silicone coated. Let me throw the upper back on here and show you the action noise. As we prepare to do that, take a quick note of this ejection port cover. No raised hump, because it doesn't need to be there. That shaves a little bit of weight. Same thing with the brass deflector. It doesn't have the big nub behind it because, well, it doesn't need that. Everything has been taken down to all that is necessary. So, try to hold this in place while I rack it. Hear how quiet that spring is in the action. The real noise you're hearing is the lockup there. Alright, now to our upper receiver, which is also lithium aluminum alloy. V7 laser marked on there. And you'll notice it is strengthened where you'd want the strength to be. That's the divot for the cutout where the cam pin can dig into receiver material. And our pick rail up here has a profile. I've seen this on a couple other companies' guns. You notice that relief there, that helps shave some weight. This gap between the handguard and upper receiver, I'm not a fan of. I'm assuming that's there for some reason, but it is perfectly flat and level across. There's no twisting there. Moving down to our magnesium handguard. This one is an older style, like I said, so it's got the key mod. You notice it's strengthened around where the key mod interface is, but otherwise super lightweight. We've got a lightweight contour barrel that is also fluted, titanium gas block, and our titanium flash hider. All in all, I mean, it's something you kind of have to hold to appreciate, but we're talking about less than 5 pounds here. Really lightweight. Big part of that, I believe, is this titanium bolt carrier. In fact, why don't I get a scale in a GI bolt carrier and we'll take a look at what the weight savings are. So I had to bring it in close so you could see the scale. Sorry about the glare there. Here is our standard GI bolt carrier group. Yes, it does have a coated bolt in it, but otherwise standard materials. And I don't know if it's going to show up on camera there. We're looking at 11.3 ounces. And now our V7 titanium bolt carrier group, which has a very slick, smooth feel to it. Notice how clean it is. 7.8 ounces. So pretty decent savings right there. Let's pull the bolt carrier apart and take a look at some of its construction. So the bolt carrier itself is of the classic design. There's no changes or lightning cuts there. You can see right away though that the cam pin itself is different, including some little cuts that I imagine reduce the surface contact on the upper receiver. That's been something that a lot of folks have been trying to reduce or fix through different means. We've seen rollers, we've seen all kinds of different methods. There we go. I believe that's also titanium. Didn't have the mass to want to drop out like normal. And here's our cam pin. Bring it in here. You can see different shape there, as well as a divot below, removing a little bit of material that didn't need to be there. And here's our actual bolt. I'm going to get something to wipe this off right quick. Alright, and that stuff did just wipe right off with a single pass. You can see it's magnetic particle inspected. It's got the MPI mark on there. Might be a little tough to see on camera. since this thing is so shiny. Even the core of the safety selector is titanium, as are the trigger and hammer pins. Inside we have the outer donut and the inner rubber. Now, I know some folks are against that, but it might be different when you're using a different material. So anyways, as you can see, this is, man, this thing's so lightweight. It's what you'd expect from an AR, but everything is made of a more advanced material. And that, I think, is really cool because it is, as I said, a continuation. Oh, turn this to keep that worn side out. Continuation of Stoner's original intent, or his task, if you will, to produce a lightweight, very transportable rifle. And really, it's the most advancement I think we've seen in the AR world in a long, long time. I mean, other than changes to little features here and there that have happened over the years, what else has been done as far as advancing the AR for its original mission? Not a whole lot. You see people trying different calibers just to add a little more power or save a little weight. We've seen lightning cuts done, all kinds of stuff like that. This follows the original recipe, if you will, but with better ingredients. Now, with all this lightweight stuff in here, how does it cycle? How does it work for accuracy? How does it work with barrel heat? That we'll get into in our shooting impressions video when we take this thing out to the range. But just wanted to give you an up-close peek at it, since these are not the most common thing. You can't find them everywhere. V7 weapons, and they do these in AR-10 as well. In fact, we had, I want to say it was a 6-pound or maybe just barely sub 6-pound AR-10 a few years back. But when I saw some folks talk about V7 and just say, oh, it's really fancy, and kind of not touch upon any of those details that really make it unique, I said, oh, I gotta help get that story right. So I reached out and got one of these. We'll get it to the range soon and show you our impressions, and of course do our what's for dinner accuracy test. Check the notes real quick on this rifling in the barrel here. I believe it's 1 in 7. It is 1 in 7 poly rifling, so it should be good with a variety of loads. Beautiful piece. If you might be wondering why you'd want to consider one of these, well, we've all got at least a few ARs, right? Everyone's got several cheapies that were thrown together. With the election looming, who knows, maybe the results will be out by the time you see this, but it might become difficult to get them. You might be turning some in so that you clear your collection, if you know what I mean. In a time of prioritizing the quality of your quantity, I think something like a V7 is worth having your hands on, because you might as well have something that is the ultimate if you've only going to have one or two. Beautiful, beautiful piece. Really looking forward to shooting this thing. Sorry it's a little dinged up and worse for wear, but this is what I could get my hands on, and I wanted to show it to you while I had the chance. Thanks for watching.